Yeah, hey everyone, how's everyone doing? So the spring market is here. So I don't know if you've noticed, but buyers are online. You should be getting tons of probably inquiries about probably sellers inquiring about how much their house is worth. I know just for us, we've had like in the last 2 weeks, probably about 15, 16 listing appointments, and we have a bunch of listings coming to the market. So if I'm feeling it, I know you guys are probably feeling it, especially with agent locator leads. Our team has been converting some good leads. So I want to share. I have to be a little quiet because my daughter's sleeping in the other room, but I'm Italian and I'm super loud, so don't know how that's gonna go. But so what I want to talk today about is more so about what a normal agent does and then what a successful agent prospects, and I think it all comes down to wording. I was talking to my team and I really find that when I chat with my leads, and I'm sure that you guys hearing the calls, I just word things differently. And ultimately, that wording and making it simple is what gets me through, tough conversations or very unique scenarios where if someone's saying no, right? How do you get them to change their mind, or how do you get them to understand what they really want while their guard's up and as you slowly chip away at that? So, I would love to just kind of, see where everyone is at with, the wording. So wording could be a traditional agent will generally say, hey, I just want to follow up with you, right? Just following up, right? We don't want to say these words, following up, or kind of like checking in is fine, but we don't want to say the word follow up because follow up, it sounds like a chore, and we don't want to make it sound like a chore to anyone. So, when I'm talking about someone about following up, what the wording I use is, hey, I want to ensure that we're on the right track. So it sounds a little different. It sounds a little different. It's more direct, and it pulls a little bit more of, just, because when you guys say when agents say these basic things, it gives the seller or whoever you're talking to, the prospect, an easy way out because they're not really caring about it. Do you know what I mean? So that's the thing that I find. So for example, like if a lead said, or if you're gonna say to a lead, I hope, what would be a different word that you would use than, I hope that, we get this number? Nobody? I have two screens here today, so I'm gonna be looking over here and over all my notes here. Nobody. So like hope for us is, I don't say the word hope, I say the word expect. Like our expectation. Because when you say the word hope, it feels less promising and it's not secure. And when you say the word expectation, does that not feel like a little bit more, confident when you're saying these things? Anybody? Or am I talking to myself?
I feel like when you say hope, it's like you're uncertain, right? There's no confidence in that as well.
Right? So how about the word pitching? I know we all like to say the word sales pitch. I want to pitch
Yeah.
this idea to the seller. So, hey, this is what my pitch would be. We would list low, right? What would the
Hmm.
other word of pitch be? Strategy. That's a good one. I would say the word, it would be guiding. Pitching is your guiding, right? Like, hey, this is what we can expect. Let's guide you to the bidding war strategy, or let's guide you to the right price, or, let's guide you to there. So, and it's just like I feel like these words, these little small word changes does make the conversation easier. And I know this may or may not make sense to you, but I mean, it's just simplifying the words because I've learned from one of my mentors when I first got into real estate is he would never want to say a negative word in front of what was happening. So for an example would be you know, like no, that can't happen, or wrong, or like starting like a negative first, right? He goes, everything needs to be neutral. Because the thing is like you don't know who you're talking to. You don't know what words would trigger people. So like that's the thing, right?
Mhm.
So, other things that I can say is like, when someone wants to wait, right? Like when someone wants to wait, we need to create urgency. You know what I'm saying? Like if someone wants to wait, what would be a script to say if like, hey, I want to wait, next year to see how the market is? How would you deal with that objection?
What is it about next year that has you considering a purchase?
Right, exactly, right? So why next year? Why, what exactly all that? So I think the thing is about challenging the thought of the lead. But, I'd love to learn like a little bit about, everyone out here. What do you feel that you're struggling with? Is it, because I think the hard part is everyone has is like the follow-up of like, okay, I called the lead, they are answering we had a great conversation first, and now I can't get them on the phone. I feel like a lot of people have that struggle. But what are some people doing when they are trying to follow up with them? Like, what is your follow up kind of spit? Like, what are you doing? Like, so I would love to know, like, if someone wants to come up, when you have a phone call, right? I have a phone call. We had a great conversation. Now, you hang up from that phone call. What are the next steps that you're going to do? And the phone call is, hey, you understand I'm in the information stage. I told you I want to look at, houses under 800 in Durham region. Yes, Kate knows what it is. She's a non-realtor, but she hears me every day, multiple times a day, free training. She ever became an agent, I need to take more commission from her from all the years of training. Um, but you guys are sleepy, eh? No one wants to
There's
engage. I know that, I'm on here, but I love to pull people out here. So what is someone struggling with following up? Because I can tell you that our systems, we do a lot of things differently. And even the success for our agents that I have. And what was really cool is what I think it was like last month or 2 months ago, having my team, one that was super experienced, one was new, so they both had different experiences, and to see the success they're already achieving on Agent Locator.
That's great.
Yulita did one contact that has multiple properties, and we did a CMA for 3 properties one night. So I mean, guys, like people are out there.
Mhm. And I think too, when it kind of goes in kind of hand in hand with confidence of the conversation. So when we are scheduling or strategizing a follow-up, we need to indicate when that follow-up is going to be, what the purpose of that follow-up is for, and what the lead is actually going to gain out of answering the phone call.
Hmm.
Right. So we want to encourage them, give them a reason that when I do call back, you're going to want to answer it. And this
Mm,
is why.
mm. Exactly that. I think like also too, like, okay, you have a great conversation, no one responds. What do you do next? What is the following up from there? Are you trying 2, 3 times and then giving up? Or are you going to set tasks for maybe every time in, a week, you call that lead the same time, or you call that lead, at different times? Guys, I can't help you if you guys are not on here.
Mhm.
Right? So, I mean, there's a lot of things that are happening, but I need to understand where you guys are at because general is great. But since this is more of an intimate class, I'd love to, really help each individual and where they are. So, this is a time where you have $1 million agent to help you out. So, let's get the questions going. We have,
Market
okay.
campaign.
So, what does that look like? Like obviously for us, we have the same thing. It's a little bit of an intro of who we are, thanks for signing up, and then kind of following up questions and stuff like that, right? Now, so what do you do after that campaign does not stop or that campaign doesn't get access to some, like doesn't get a response? what happens next?
Next in another call.
How long do you call until you stop? And what kind of texts and emails are you sending? If you want to come up here, Margaret and Burlow, might be a little easier. Perfect. Yay. This is the fun part, guys.
Oh,
All
you just
right.
muted yourself. Margaret, you
Okay.
just have to unmute yourself. You muted yourself. There you go.
Crushing it. Unmuting's the hardest part. I know.
I know. You're making sure you're on the right audio. You may be on the wrong. You might be on the wrong audio, but
Okay, so Margaret or Burlow, don't know who's on there right now, but thanks for coming up here. So I'd love to learn. So, okay, the emails and text messages, are they kind of just generic, like kind of like obviously like, thanks for looking at this city, like, these kind of things?
Video.
Yeah. Okay. So that's great. I think that if what I've been doing on ours is, let's say, for example, if you're not getting responses or you feel that you want to improve that, I would look because you have a chain of what happens, right? And everyone has access to ChatGPT. If you don't, definitely get access to it. I would definitely copy and paste all your messages in there and then, label it as whatever steps you are. And then I would get ChatGPT to kind of refine it for you. Or maybe make like a part two, three, four plan for you so you have a whole 6 months of following up while having calls in between there. Because for us, it's just like when people don't respond, it's just hard because, the problem is that everybody gets bombarded with stuff. So unless the messages are very unique or very, I wouldn't say the word controversial, but very like right in what they need, I feel like the whole point of these messages is to generate a response. So it's about finding the right message at the right steps to see what responds at the most. And if it gets responses, keep that one, but maybe change other steps. Which,
Can you hear me? Can
yeah, I
you
can
hear me?
hear you. I can hear
yeah.
you now.
Oh, yay.
Yay.
Sorry about that, Nick.
No, it's all good.
No, I think as far as our campaign, we've been tweaking and tweaking and tweaking. So just recently, um, actually, Tara guided us a little bit as well to try to sharpen up our campaign.
Yes.
But you're right. We have a great conversation. You're thinking, great, something's going to happen. And then beep.
They don't respond back. So
Yeah,
I find when that happens, it's either they really like obviously the vibe in the conversation. Something clearly happens. So I find when that happens, it's either one or three things. One, literally they're just super busy. So it really comes down to making sure you follow up. But in that conversation that you guys had, it's really, really, really important to like understand what was the value and what is something that they needed, because that is only going to be the motivation for them to get back to you.
right. Yeah,
Unless you just consistently call like, every 3 weeks or 2 weeks. Like you don't want to bombard people, right? But, just lightly checking in and finding these things. Another thing that we do is we actually put all our agent locator leads when they come in into our newsletter so that we personalize it a little bit.
right. Yeah, we've done that too. Yeah,
Beautiful, beautiful.
yeah,
But what we've also done too is I don't know, like for our newsletter, and I'll show you guys on Flowdesk, but I would try to. I don't know if you're ready in your email, newsletter that you have out. I don't know if you have incorporated like I put like you can click search in Durham and it says like Clarington, Oshawa, whatever. So you can click on these cities and it'll bring you onto our non-branded website or our branded website to start searching. So we use that to help get a little bit more. So um
To
like if I show,
interact with them.
yes, and to re-engage, and we also put our listings on there. So for example, this is I have to just like look at how this works again. View in browser. Sorry, guys. Okay. So we personalize things, seeing what's around town, what's happening, right? Then we
Hmm.
have our market stats. Then we have this. Then we have what events are having this month. We always do a giveaway. So this one we did a $400 gift card. We always have a client win, and then take a peek at listings here, and then our listings coming through here. So this is our last month. So we had just had a bunch of stuff, but it's cool because people can click in this, and it'll bring us to our branded, and they can start searching again. So we find that with ours, if I go on to, I have to see how things work because obviously I have assistants and they all do this and a marketing manager, but I want to see what people clicked on. Few clicks. So you can see, so 27, and then we attach our social media on there. So you can see that we got 27 people that clicked on our social media. What is this? We had 36 people that clicked on our giveaway.
Yeah.
We had 15 people that clicked communities in Clarington. So this is all good data because then you get to see, right? Communities, West Rouge. So we've had let's say 8, 10, so 20, 20, 35, almost 50 people just browsing, clicking on that link. So this is a great way to re-engage with people. And if people like, let's just say your sphere or your other people that are not in the search yet, this is great for your database because now it's getting them curious. So now you might get, your spheres of influence, you might get, your database, you might get your past clients. Everyone might just, start sparking. And that's one of the tools and ways that we use to keep generating leads through our database throughout the year.
So how did you get those stats, Nick?
Those stats. We went to Trev, right? And then we designed it, obviously, right?
But how did you know where they clicked on your website stats, like that
Oh,
information?
that's through Flowdesk.
It's through the
So
marketing
it's like,
itself.
yeah. So I use Flowdesk because I was using Mailchimp, but they're super expensive. Um, so I think they were like $100 and something. It was like this is crazy. So yeah. So I use Flowdesk.
Okay.
So that's something there. It obviously takes a little bit to get used to, like anything, but and then it tells you how many people opened and how many times. So like great way to generate leads. It's about using your database and having tools. The best part about social media that everyone needs to start adopting, and it's not just social media, but like just where this technology is or where it is now, is like now it's like everyone's on the same playing field, right? Like you may be good at like technology or whatever, and I might not. But if I just learn how to use, ChatGPT or some sort of AI thing, once I do that, it will now keep us all on the same playing field. So the only way that we're better now is your mind. How do you connect things? How do you create, your pipeline to go further? How do you get more people that want to come in? And it's all about connecting everything.
Okay.
So really great, tidbit that we use.
And you guys
So
also, in addition to what Nick does with his newsletters, because as you can see, there's always something that I'm sure there's people that look at real estate, and there's people that are always, know there's going to be a contest in there, right? There's people that just like might just look for that, but it encourages them to open it every single month. And in addition to that, within your guys' systems, you do have pre-built follow-up campaigns
yeah,
that you can edit. So I've put them in there. They're a hot lead, warm lead, cold lead. The difference between them is that the communication is either closer together or further apart. In those, of course, you can edit them. but they are meant for individuals where you've had a conversation with them. So it's not like, hey, I haven't heard from you. It's more of like soft check-ins through email or enlightening with information. There is text messages as well built in to help take some of the load off of you. Naturally, you're going to still use your filters that we guide you on for your follow-ups, the hot, warm, cold, but you know some of the touch points are taken care of for you. So if somebody's in those lists and they're on those campaigns, that means you should probably be calling them because it's been X amount of days since they've received a call or a text from you. It's just the system is kind of helping you with some of that follow-up so they're not completely just dropping off. Now these are people, of course, that you're going to be nurturing anyway. And again, if you had a conversation, you're going to follow up with them right away. We're not just going to, call them once and they didn't answer. Okay, we'll let the campaign do its work. We want to, be consistent with those follow-ups because we don't know why they're not answering the second time that we're following up with them, right? We don't know where that person is at. Conversation may have gone great. They could have got cold feet. Something could have happened. We really don't know. But we just have to be consistent because the average agent is only going to call one or two times,
If
right? And
that,
then they give up.
if
Yeah.
that.
And then they give up, right?
But
And the
now,
lead's not going to call you. So if they say, I'll
yeah,
give you a call, they're like, the
yeah,
chances are they're not going to call you.
yeah. Yeah, totally understand. And then it comes down to your scripting, right? So we know that like a lot of people are not going to answer. So when we do answer, we have to make sure it hits. So, I'm sure, Margaret, do you have a great intro? Like when someone, I mean, like, I'm sure that you know what it is, but at the end of the day, it's like, that first intro is where it's at. If you want to share yours, Margaret, always great, so the class can hear, other than
Yeah.
me always telling what I say.
Well, when they don't answer the phone, I do leave a message and
Yep,
then I follow that up with an email as well, just so
of
they
course.
know, hey,
But
uh,
let me ask you a question. What would be the voicemail that you would leave?
well, I introduce myself and then I say, I'm just checking in to see if you found what you were looking for on our website. I do appreciate you browsing through the website. I wouldn't mind touching base with you to confirm what you're looking for to make sure you're receiving the correct listings daily.
Yeah. So the thing is like you're saying the right things, but like people are not hearing it. So what I would try to say instead, Margaret, is this. So you'll know like when someone comes in, you'll know what they're searching for. So let's say what area are you in, Margaret?
Hamilton,
Hamilton.
Niagara.
So okay. So basically like what I would be saying is this. Hey Margaret, it's Nick Moretti giving you a call. Just actually wanted to let you know there was about 10 new listings that just hit Hamilton today. I wanted to let you know that there's some really good options. What I would just say like give me a shout back at 416-559-5301 and I'd love to explore these I'd love to showcase these options or something like that. Something in around that kind of way because now you've already said who you are. You already like explained, why you're calling and now
Yep.
you're making them sound you're making curious like being curiosity, right? Like so
Hmm.
like what are the 10 listings that I want to know? Remember, it's always about them. It's always about
Hmm.
them. It's not like and doing the customer service stuff of like, hey, yeah, it's Nick Moretti. I'd love to thank you so like it doesn't work. Like it works for some people, it's not going to
Hmm.
work for the mass of people. People
Hmm.
are going to hear that and scroll through. Not everyone, I'm saying, right? And the whole point is just to improve. I find from doing something like this, I do get callbacks. Not all the time, right? Like,
Right.
depending on what it is. But, at the end of the day, saying that is already taking 10 seconds off the initial voicemail.
I did try adding in, hey, spring market is getting hot right now,
Great job.
little tidbits like that.
But do it to them. Do it to them. So another way of doing it is like someone wants to look at Hamilton, you know that they've been looking at like 700, 750, right?
Hmm.
You could even
Yeah.
say, "Hey Margaret, it's Nick Moretti. Just wanted to give you a call. I see that you were looking in Hamilton, but there was 10 new listings that came out under 750 today that I think you might like. Give me a call back at 416-559-5301. Look forward to
Would you
hearing from you."
follow up with an email as well?
Yes, I would text them
Okay.
that. I would text it as well.
Okay.
I wouldn't email, text it.
Well, just sometimes I don't have a right phone number. So.
Yeah, yeah, email then, of course, right?
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
but generally, if you have the number, I would always follow up with a text because
Okay.
that message there will get you like 10 out of 10 messages, maybe 7 or 8 times out of 10. You'll get a response from that, depending on how you word it, right? So remember, going back to wording, right? Like, if you're not selling, right? You're advising people,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
You're an advisor. That's the most important part. When so like those are the things. Like, and even when you're talking to sellers, like I don't really say commission as much. I say that this is the investment.
Hmm.
Like these little things is what changes the stage.
Hmm.
Remember, like, and this is how I think, and whether you people understand it or not, hopefully you guys get it. But like whenever you talk to someone, there's a stage mentally. There's a mental stage, okay? Like you talk to someone normal, that's awesome. But when you start, saying different things and like, you know, getting them to really think, you're creating a different stage on them. Because now it's not like I'm getting, just like a random person I'm talking to. Now it's like there's a little bit of rapport, there's a little bit of trust, and now as we go through the script and as we go down, the stage is getting set. So once the
Hmm.
stage is set and it's set well, like everyone's comfortable, then everything starts coming out easily on the other lead side, right? They're happy. You're giving them a show. Once everyone is like, once you get all that stuff, all that information, then it's just continuing to give them everything that they want. I feel that a lot of people have to focus on them. I know we say you, but what does that mean? You means like on them. So if the lead is looking in, Hamilton and $1 million, you're sending opportunity in and around that $1 million for you to get a response back. And they're going to be like, who is this person? Because everyone else is calling me and just harassing me. And
Hmm.
you're already standing out. So the difference that I get from my clients is like, I just ooze my energy. I just like, this is what it is. I'm confident in my own skin. This is how we're going to do it. And let's do it. If we're not on the same vibe, then we're not a good fit. And respectfully, see you next time.
Yeah.
You
Best
know
of
what I
luck.
mean?
See you.
Yeah, right. It takes me a lot to fire someone because I I like painful people, I guess. But it's just because it helps me understand. You know the difference of, this is the difference that my mentor told me when I was on when I first joined my real estate team. Anyways, the more money you make is based on how much more pain you take. Let me explain. There's going to be clients where you're like, that person is fucking crazy. I'm not working with them. No problem. But someone is going to get that money. Is it painful? Yeah. But that person's going to have to transact. So it comes down people who can't tolerate pain, I find, right? Is because they can't deal with their own emotions. And in the hype, because real estate, when you're doing deals and you're in those problem scenarios, the lead or the agent or whatever, everyone's heightened. But it's up to you to stay neutral, and it's up to you to stay neutral and continue on the goal and not get emotional. That's the difference.
Amen.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
So I can take a lot of pain. And then once you start taking a lot of pain, all the little stuff or all the things that used to be a lot are like, this shit's easy now. But that is the difference. That is the difference. So obviously, if people are not respecting you or it's like that kind of crazy, I mean, I still close deals with that, but like I choose not to now.
We just
But
collect the pay and move on.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Remember, my like two things in life, relationship or money. You can't have both in a transaction.
Mhm.
I'm Italian too, so I hear you, Nick.
I know. So you understand mentally, this is a transaction. I'm doing whatever the fuck I need and
Yep.
getting this done and moving on. But
Yeah.
that is the difference. I can, and then remember, sometimes it's not one call. Like I get 10, 15 calls of fires. So imagine that. But it's because I can deal with the pain. I can deal with it. I can understand it. And I'm like comfortable in it. It's pretty crazy. But I mean,
Hmm.
that's the only way you get through these things because in real estate, you're going to be in some sticky situations. Not because of you not doing the right things, is because things are happening,
Yeah, you got to have a thick skin.
right? You do.
Yeah.
I've had a seller once that was, whatever, but selling like fuck you. But like saying me like fuck you. It's like, okay, well, thank you. No problem. So are you going to sign this? Like, I don't really care. So it's just like, obviously we don't want to be in these situations, but sometimes like you deal with scenarios and sometimes you see people's true colors. Because remember, you're dealing with people's lives, their money, and then you're dealing with their family. So it's like it gets really personal. So, and then if you're not saying the right things, then shit's gonna happen. And then that's how lawsuits happen. That's how people are gonna get sued. That like, so you need to really know what you're saying and how to deal with problems. And you only learn by almost getting engulfed by them, but you're okay. So
Yeah, it's hard to not get emotionally involved. And then it's also, like you said, you've got to take yourself out of the equation.
you
And
do.
especially when times is, where we
Times are
may have put
tough.
a lot of yeah, times are tough. We may have put a lot of effort in on these people. It's hard to not take it personally because of what you've invested in it so far. Um, and it's a skill. It is a skill to
Yes.
be able to have that wall,
Maneuver.
that barrier where, what, this is, like you said, a transaction. It's either happening or it's not happening. And either way, whichever way it goes, I have to be okay with that and move on to the next.
Exactly.
That's why
I can
people
tell
do
you. Sorry,
commercial real
Crystal.
estate, That's why there's a lot of people that do it. There is no emotion and it's a deal. It is an investment. It's a transaction. There's no emotion involved. It's all numbers,
Yes.
right? So it either happens or it doesn't.
Yes. Exactly. I can tell you how to get through this. But remember, this is where I came from. Okay? I came from like you're looking at a guy that was so nervous to do deals because I was nervous to get sued. Like every time I was writing a deal, I would like hyperventilate and I would be like, even though I everything is written, I would check it like 10 times. Like something's changed. Like nothing has changed from this paper that I've seen. But it's just like, especially being at the beginning, like I didn't want to get sued. I don't like I only have a certain amount of money. I don't want like these bigger crazy problems, right? So what I can tell you, and then my mentor told me this, Nick, at the end of the day, you have two options. And he had a young son at the time, two of them. He goes, Nick, either you make money or I'll grab Mark's blanket, that's his son's name, and you can sit in the corner. But at some point, you're gonna have to get up from that corner and make money. So like, let's go. You know what I mean?
That's
So
what
now,
insurance is for.
yeah, exactly. But not everything. Not everything. Only covers
No,
certain
true, yeah.
things.
Yeah.
I check, trust me, bro. I check. So, anyways, the only way, guys, the
Oh,
only way to get through that pain is you have to do more transactions. Once I've learned how the transaction works, what fires happen, and what happens in the part if someone doesn't want to close or the seller doesn't do what they're saying or whatever, I now have so much experience that I now understand. There's no more unknown. It's like this is the field. So now it's like now that I know the field, now it's like I'm not scared. So that is where confidence is happening. So you just have to keep doing more deals. It gets easier. I swear to God, it gets easier. But that's it.
Noelle's asking if you can suggest how to save a buyer relationship, which has become very emotional to the point where a client wants to fire you.
Yeah, I mean, like that's a great one. It happens. But it really just comes down to, obviously we have to understand why they're emotional. Is it because they feel like opportunity has been missed? Do they feel that they have not been represented well? Like those are where it needs to come from. And if that has happened, that means that you did not give good expectations or you didn't have any like lines of like, this is how it's going to work. At this point, it sounds like the client has walked all over you, which some people do. And this is what you have to understand. People will take as much as they will take if you do not let them. They'll walk on you, they'll reverse, they'll walk around, stomp, walk again, reverse, walk. Like they'll do all that shit. People are messed up. So you have to let people know like this is not how it works.
They want to be in control.
We're in contract. So
Yeah.
we want to get this house. We're not going to miss opportunities. Let's reset the stage and let's move forward. Understand what their problems are and then going from there. That's just what you have to figure out. And I've had to circle back to people sometimes like that, where, I've had times where I'll give you some great great things. I've got an offer on a property. My seller thinks it's way too low, which fine, it is a little bit. But, at the end of the day, my seller is also still like understands that just last year these were selling for 75 to 100K more. And understanding real estate, it's painful. So when I bring in when someone brings me this offer, I'm getting yelled at. I'm getting yelled at, but you have to understand an emotional person would take that personally. Like he's yelling at me. He's not yelling at me. He's just explaining what it is and he's frustrated, right? So you taking yourself out of the equation right there, now you see that now but that's what your job is, guys. Your job is not to be emotional. Your job is just to connect the seller and the buyer together. Yeah, they're going to be painful. These guys want $3 million. These guys want $2. Somewhere we got to figure it out. Somewhere in the air, we got to figure it out, right? So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just like, they're going to tell you, but you have to translate. And then all the stuff they're saying, you have to present it to the other person to get it there. So if you're now like emotionally charged and you're calling the other person saying, listen, you're a fucking asshole. Why would you bring this low price? You know what comps are selling for. But like, no, the reverse is this. Hey, I understand your buyers are trying to try. I get it. I try it myself. I'm Italian. But we have to understand this is not realistic. Do you see how the approach is different? So it's like if you're not approaching things like this with your agents, then I know you're not fucking doing that with your leads. So it all starts how you have conversations with your agents. Why do I say that? Is because you're talking to real estate with agents back and forth. So if you can't have easy conversations with someone that understands your language, then that's a you problem. That's a you problem. Now, if you can have great conversations, great relationships, then that's great. Now I know that you can do that on the other side. But yeah. Any other last questions? I know your boy talks a lot, but I'm literally speaking like spitting fire right now. Like I hope you see like flames all around my screen mentally.
You need
Because
to
it's
get
like
one of
I'm
the
spitting like fire and like years of understanding this.
you need to do one of the video effects of a dragon
Yeah.
on you.
I think if I do the thumbs up, there's like a like
There's like appearance ones. I wonder if there's one where you can be like an avatar.
I
I
know.
jump in as an avatar sometimes, and I'm like, look at me,
That's
I'm an
funny,
astronaut.
right? But does anyone have
So,
any other question? Oh, Greg wants to come up. My boy Greg, let him
give me
know.
one second.
Let us know what it is.
Okay, how about now? Can you hear me now?
Yes,
We're all
sir.
good.
Okay, terrific. Yeah. Okay. Just gonna vent a little bit. I believe in the law of averages. You win some, you lose some. But in the last little while, I've lost a lot that I shouldn't have, and it's
That's
it's a
painful.
bit of a toughie. And I just wonder
That's
if
painful.
words of wisdom, because I'm sure I'm not the only guy going through this mess.
Right. So I'd love to, take a moment. So like where have you lost? Like, you can just kind of paraphrase and let me know, but give me some examples because
People
I would love to
Yeah,
help.
people that I've kept in touch with, sent them lots of listings, talked to them many, many times. I got a Dear John letter saying that they've decided to go with another person, and things like that. There wasn't any incident that I can figure out that I did wrong, but clearly somebody else did something better than I. And
Yeah.
it's just, and I believe, like, and I'm okay. Like I do okay, but it's just that these things are getting me down. And
Yeah, for sure. So
yeah.
let me give you some expectations here. So the thing is like, and I don't know, like with these leads that you talk to, have you done CMAs? Have you taken them out to showings?
CMAs, yes. Mostly just talking back and forth. Some personal visits, take a look at their house, that sort of thing.
Okay. So in those conversations, where is that headed? So you go there, you present, life is good, or you go and show them houses, or you're talking back and forth. So what happens after that? Like, what is kind of the stage, and then like what is happening after that?
Yeah, yeah. So I have well, a week or so ago, I had a really good CMA. These are people I met at an open house a month ago. Everything was great. I did a two-part CMA with them. Everything was great.
Hold on,
And
hold on. Why two parts?
oh, because I wanted to meet with the husband and wife, and the wife was only available, and that kind of threw me for a loop. So I said, okay, well, I do it in two parts, and the second one, the husband was there, so that's how I
Okay.
did it. I said, well,
Okay.
then I just go look at the house the first time. I just kind
Okay.
of flipped that.
Yeah.
More normally, I
Okay.
only do one.
Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, they're not doing anything. I can't get a hold of them, that sort of thing. That I just sort of strange because I left there thinking, holy shit, that was extremely good. And things like that,
So this is the problem. So I'm going to stop here
yeah,
because I know that there's going to be more. So let me just address one at a time because then I forget things. So this is the thing, and it happens to me often as well. Well, I wouldn't
that's
say
everybody.
often, but it happens, right? So I mean, at the end of the day, this is what it is. People are great at not people making people not feel bad. You know what I mean? So obviously they like it. There's something there that was great. They're acting. They're literally acting in front of you. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
they're masking.
So the thing is that somewhere in that appointment you didn't dive deep enough or the number was not where they wanted to be. Even though
Mm,
maybe they did say or whichever, I don't know. But what I can tell you from doing like hundreds of
sure.
CMAs is that when that happens and like they go blank, one of two things happen. Whether they now are getting a second opinion or now something has happened and in their life that now they're taking a break of something. So it could
Hmm.
be one of the other two, one or. But if you know that they're about to list soon and they're going blank, right? Then there's a problem.
Yeah.
So I'll give you an example. So before I give you an example, so let me just get this set up here. Sorry. So basically, like we have to figure out. So in that thing, you went through obviously CMAs, you went through, the tour, you went through the number. Obviously, she likes you and the number or whatever because you came back for a second time. So that's fine. So now you went through commissions, you went through what you were going to do.
Yes.
Well, was there any objections or from there, did you get a list date from them?
No, no. They are deciding if they want to buy first, sell first. And after we went through everything, I have a feeling that they don't think that the juice is worth the squeeze on moving, that they're going to move for the sake of moving, and they're not going to
Okay,
benefit from
so hold on. What are you saying to them? And I'm not attacking you, sorry, bro.
no,
This is
no, I'm
not you.
not. No.
I'm just saying like this is what I'm saying in the market when I'm there, okay? Because if I understand this market is depending if you bought in the last 5 years,
Oh,
you're losing money. So those people are having hard times. We're still converting those people because they have to sell and they need to get out of there. But basically, this is what I'm saying to those people specifically. So, hey, listen, right now, this is what you have. This is the opportunity that you have that you didn't have. What we didn't have for the last 4 or 5 years was basically that we didn't have any inventory. You went into a house for 15 minutes and you had to figure out how many hundreds of thousands of dollars you're going over, right? And it's crazy competition. Okay. What are you getting now in this market? Yes, prices have definitely come down. Okay. But you're getting more opportunity. You can think about the property and come back to it depending on the strategy. But for most properties right now, you can actually negotiate out. You could actually probably get a sale of buyer's condition depending on the property once again. And
yeah.
you can get a really good price. So what does this market allow you to do? This market allows you to, if you're thinking about, what is their goal? Are they thinking of upsizing or they're thinking of doing a lateral
They,
move?
they want to downsize, they want a smaller place. But
Mm.
after we looked at it and everything, where they want in a smaller place is pretty much a lateral move. And I think that that's probably what killed it.
Right, exactly. So their expectations on what it is. So I
Yeah.
mean, but this is the thing. So I understand that this is maybe a lateral move for you, but now you're moving the money into a different product that generally, if you wanted to be in here, these numbers would probably be a little bit higher. Since you're downsizing, they might be okay anyways, but generally right now, if they're downside, like depending on what it is, because with the people that we're downsizing, especially when these things are happening where it's like, it's more so like a lateral move. Instead of having a couple $100,000 in the bank, they have maybe like 100 or 50K after it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, what you are getting in this, what you are getting now is you're getting a better price in what's happening today. And remember, the market's down for so long, but then it's going to go back up. So you have to see
Yes.
this as opportunity. Anytime that there's uncertainty, there is opportunity. So yes, right now it doesn't feel like you're winning, but you are, because now you're getting your money out of here. You're moving to something that you where you want to be, and another stock, right? Another stock for you to grow and get even more money, so that when the money comes back up, because the markets have low times and high times, and we've been
Yeah.
5 years of low times, it's gonna come around, maybe a couple more years, but then you're gonna be sitting pretty on another golden egg that now you have another leverage to use in the future. So what I suggest is let's start looking now in those areas. I think that
Hmm.
you guys should buy first. Well, buying first is hard. They would need to sell unless they understand what it is. If I was them, I would be selling first. But then they're nervous because they don't know
I
where
think
they
that
want to
that's probably
be.
what they should do. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
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 They're in Brampton, so it's
Yeah.
a
It's a
bit of a
different
tougher
story.
sell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, but yeah, so that's kind of, but like, this is what I'm saying in my appointments, though, Greg. Like the same wording, the same tone, the same everything. So the way that I'm saying things, no other agents are saying. That's why
Hmm.
my converting is like almost 100%,
Yeah.
almost
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
CMAs. So it's just like you have to tell the story. You have to tell the story. But before you tell the story, you have to really know what's happening in the market. For me, I have such a crystal clear view because
Uh,
I have so many deals,
yeah.
right? We have 8 listings that we just had. We sold 6 of them. We just have another 7 coming to the market in this month,
Yeah.
plus more. Plus, we have buyers. So I'm seeing both sides, right, on everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really important to like understand the information and figure out, okay, if I'm a seller, what if I'm a seller that's looking to upsize, what is the pitch? What is the guidance, right? That we were saying. If they're looking for lateral move, where is the opportunity? Like where, because each one, if someone's looking to upsize, their opportunity vision is different from someone looking to downsize.
Sure.
Because what you would be saying on someone that upsize is, hey, right now is the time to buy because the prices from upsizing is much lower. So the gap is lower compared to when the market is hot. This gap is much higher and you're not getting it.
I've gone through that with many people lately. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. The
Right.
gap is
So
closer than it's ever been. Yeah.
exactly. So, and then investors are the same way, but investors are not really going to be buying in this market.
No, they're
Yes and
still
no.
spooked.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Nick.
So yeah, Greg, but
Yeah.
don't be like it sucks when these things happen. But I think at the end of the day, it just in your appointments, and it sounds like you do already because you're an awesome agent. It's just like just dive deep. Don't be like there's two things. Like I know that we'd be and you're not this agent, but I'm just saying in general, but like sometimes we're nice to the lead, hoping that they're gonna get back. But it doesn't matter if you're nice to the lead. Hear me out. It's obviously you have to be respectful, right? But it's not about being nice to the lead. What it is asking questions. It's getting right to the point. For me, that takes, someone takes 20, 30 conversations. I get it done in 5 because I'm asking the questions and I don't go on like the tangent of hearing their stories and, I cut it and continue on.
Would
So
you would you recommend I start sending them some listings that might fit their criteria more than what they've
100%.
already found?
What you need to do if I was you, I would be sending them listings where they want to be. I would be telling them to let's go out weekly because
Yeah.
they're ready to do something and they have to understand that they need to list first. Because what you need to explain to them is, listen, right now, if you want to buy first, great. But if you're seeing, this is the thing, if you're seeing, multiple properties you want to buy, then selling, you need to sell first because you have some opportunities and you know it's going to be fine.
Right.
Buying first only happens if you want a very specific property. For example, I want to be in this condo unit in this facing section. For
Yeah.
example, that's when you buy first, when you have picky clients. But in your case, what you need to do is we need to list first because the market's only going to go down. How is it going down? Right now, there's more supply. With more supply, puts pressure on price. Number one. Number
Yeah.
two, March 18th, the Bank of Canada held rates, which sounds great, right? No, the bonds rose, so banks quietly pushed their rates. So now,
Yeah. Yeah, they did.
3 weeks ago, you could have got 3.9 to 4.1. Now it's 4.2 to 4.5 or
Yeah.
4.6.
Yeah,
So
it is.
borrowing costs went up. So you as a seller that needs to sell a property, the market's only going to go down right now. And right now in this market, you need to get in and you need to get out. So right now we need to list and have a long closing so that when inventory and more of these things happen, you get a better purchasing power.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how you have to explain
No,
it.
that's straightforward stuff. Yes. Yeah.
That's it. And that's how I get deals
Yeah.
right there on a platter. And that's what it is. And you know what? You don't want to work with me? No problem. But no one else is going to get you what I do. I confidently believe that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so anyways, just understand. And you know what, bro? This is good. Remember, when I'm in those sessions of the losing sprees, I really think about what am I doing? What am I putting out? What am I doing wrong? What am I missing? What am
Hmm.
I missing? Because you're one step away. You're one step away to then just getting everything.
Hmm.
One step away.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, don't worry. At the end of the day, you got more coming, but it's
I
just
do.
now
Yeah.
of going forward and how will these things not happen or limit. But
Hmm.
just like there's losing like good markets and bad markets, there's a losing season and then there's a winning season. Right now, when I get to that point where it's like, okay, can you like stop kicking me in the face like multiple times? Like I'm dying. Like, can you please stop? I always feel truthfully, whether anyone believes it or not, I feel like it's God testing you right now. There's money coming on the other side. He's testing you
Hmm.
right now. You've
Yeah.
committed to like getting, your goals or whatever. He's testing you right now. So just keep going through the test, keep being neutral, keep going through the mud, keep grinding, keep going to your appointments, keep outputting because you will get paid. It will start happening. I promise you.
Hmm. Hmm.
Whenever you are at the lowest point, and this is for everyone, if are ever at the lowest point in the day, just tell yourself, give yourself 48 hours. Because in the next 48 hours, something will happen that will make your life better. I promise you. So that's it. Mic drop.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm sure I'm not the only one you give that advice to, Nick.
Yeah, to everyone, trust me.
Yeah.
All right, everyone, you guys are the best. Have a great day. And
Awesome.
Greg, I can't wait to see you next time to say, bro, I got 3 listings.
Perfect. Thank
Okay.
you.
Awesome. Thanks,
Bye.
everyone. See you
Yeah,
next
no
time.
problem. Bye.
Bye.